Hi, it's Splatoon ranking time. I'm gonna rank them by how much I enjoy playing the weapon, how good I think their kit is. I guess I'm just going in the order that they're giving me. So the first weapon they have that's regular Rapid Blaster. I haven't played this one as much because I usually get targeted like hell. It'd probably be fun to play more blasters. I just have not. I have 3-star freshness on this. Ah! I didn't know I had 3-star weapon freshness for this Rapid Blaster. The bomb they give you is an ink mine. The special they give you as a default is a triple ink strike. I feel like this is actually a very solid weapon kit. I'm gonna say A. Rapid Blaster is kind of slow though, but it says rapid, but slower than Clash Blaster, which is the speed that I am used to. Rapid Blaster Deco. Its kit is the torpedo and the inkjet. I like torpedo a lot. It's very useful. However, it has the potential to get shot down by enemies, so if your enemy is good at shooting things down. But also, I like torpedoes. They're a good distraction because you get your enemy to waste ink on them. And, the ult again is inkjet. You're kind of a C tier. This is the Rapid Blaster Pro, which is slower than the regular Rapid Blaster. Oh my god. The sub for that one is Toxic Mist. The special is Inkback. In all my years of playing this game, the little stickers on the background move around. The fire rate is slow. There are other weapons that are much faster. We're also taking accountability all these other really fast weapons that exist in here. So I'm gonna say you're kind of a D. The next one is the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. The sub is an angle shooter and the special is Killer Whale. Angle shooter is good. It damages your enemy and also pinpoints their location if you manage to hit them with it. If I angle these right, it actually ends up having more range than the point sensor, which is another weapon that does very similar things. It pinpoints the enemy's location, but then instead of doing damage, it just slows them down. I'm gonna say it's better than the Rapid Blaster original Deco. That is my stance. Rapid Blaster Pro WNTR, so like Winter. This is one of the new third kits that was added to the game. Your sub is a suction bomb, and the special is a tacticaler. This tacticaler is useful if you're playing support. C tier. I feel like I could get messed up by some of these, maybe. Okay, next one. Clash Blaster. Ooh, baby, this is Clash Blaster. This is one of my baby weapons. I love it. It's so much fun. It is short-ranged, but I love positioning myself super close to enemy team people and just trapping them with the Clash Blaster. The sub is the regular default bomb. The ult is Trizooka. The special lets you shoot bazooka shots of ink 3 times in a row. They're pretty powerful and they will instantly annihilate your enemy. That's an S tier, baby. Clash Blaster Neo. The sub for this one is Curling Bomb. And then the ult for this one is Super Chump, which is very fun. It's mostly kind of just good in turf war. You have to be really careful with it and how you use it, but if you have a map that's kind of layered, it's not as much you can do with it. So I'm gonna say you are an A tier. That is the classic Blaster. The default is literally called Blaster. Sub is Auto Bomb. Ult is Big Bubbler. I am a big fan of auto bombs. They will follow the enemy after a short amount of time and then explode. I like carrying extra sub-tank storage so I can throw even more auto bombs and piss people off. The ultimate, Big Bubbler, is a giant shield. Very good on some maps, however it's very vulnerable from the top and the bottom. So if you're on a layered map, you have to be really careful about where you place it. Buddy, why are you a square? I'm gonna place Blaster in I'm gonna say B tier. There's other blasters that are kind of better than the default. Anyways, next Blaster, what are you? You are the Custom Blaster. This one is fun because the sub is a point sensor, the ult is a triple splashdown. Oh, I should also mention that the default blasters have a slower fire rate than Rapid Blaster, shorter range, and they're slower than Clash Blaster, but they have a bigger blast radius. I am a big fan of triple splashdown though. You kind of jump up in the air and then you just completely destroy everything within a certain radius, and it's extremely powerful. I'm gonna say you're better than default Blaster, but not enough to be S tier. Next is Range Blaster. Longer range, same impact, the fire rate is slower. The sub is Suction Bomb and the ult is Wave Breaker. I like Wave Breaker a lot. It can get broken after some amount of time. It will just kind of put down a giant wave and your enemies have to jump over it or else they get damaged and their location gets exposed. This particular range blaster, you're B tier. No, you're A tier. This is similar to the Infinity Nikki Dresses stream where I happen to like a lot of these weapons. Custom range blaster. Same base stats, but the sub is Splat Bomb and the ult is Kraken Royale. I'm a big fan of Kraken Royale because you cannot get damage at all. You can also do a bunch of damage to people around you if you dash into them or you do little hops and jumps, and you also ink a bit. It's very fun ultimate that was originally in Splatoon 1. It's not as powerful as it was in Splatoon 1 though. This one is an S tier. Wow, I've not touched the blasters. The next one is the Gleams Blaster. The sub for that one is Squid Beacon, which is a device that anyone on the map can see where it's located, but your teammates can super jump to it. Place them right, you can have way better positioning on the map. And you can only have 3 of them on the map at a time. They're usually single use, but allies that don't have the Squid Beacon equipped can use them twice. The ultimate for that is Crab Tank. Crab Tank just isn't as powerful as it used to be. You're going in B tier? Luna Blaster. The Luna Blaster is fast, not as fast as Clash Blaster, but still pretty fast. Bigger impact than Clash Blaster, but slower fire rate. The sub is Splat Bomb, and then the ult is Sipcaster. It kind of makes you into Spider-Man. It lets you go almost anywhere on the map. You have to be very careful about where you start it, and your enemies can still kind of get you, but you can stick to walls, and then if you manage to stick to a wall correctly, you can just completely go through an opponent. You're an A tier. Next one, Luna Blaster Neo. The sub is a Fizzy Bomb, which you have to shake it more and it takes more time, but you can adjust how much you want the bomb to go, which is nice. Same thing with the Curling Bomb. The longer you hold down your button, the longer or more effective some of these sub bombs can be. And then the ultimate is the Super Stamper, Ultra Stamp. It gives you a big ol' hammer, you stamp the ground. You can also throw the hammer. Ultra Stamp is one of the most powerful ults in the game, however, it can be defeated by Splashdown. It's not quite as powerful as it used to be. So I'm just gonna say A tier. Well, ba-bam! We're at S-Blast, 92. It's based off of like a Super Scope Nintendo weapon, I believe? I love Splatoon when they kind of include homages to Nintendo itself and like some of their older gear and hardware. I haven't played it with it much, but the special thing about this blaster is that it does long range if you do not jump at all, but if you jump, it does short range and a really big blast. I like this one a lot because it can be varied. I think it's very, very powerful. It's new to Splatoon 3. And then the sub is Sprinkler, which if you throw it and then let it hang out for a small amount of time, it can just spray ink over an area and then an enemy has to destroy it, but it lasts for a while. If you have memorized how much time it takes on your specific like kit you've made, you can just come back and be like, okay, it's done, and then throw another one somewhere else. And then the ult for this one is Reef Slider, which it's just Car Shark. There's a small amount of time where you're not completely indestructible, but then for a bit you will be completely destructible, and then go for a certain amount of time spreading ink, and then you just explode. It's great. Very powerful, very mindful, very demure. Good weapon. Good weapon. I'm gonna say S tier. Next one is S-Blast 91. Same thing, and then does Burst Bomb, throw it, and it kind of just explodes and does ink instantly. It only does a tiny amount of damage though. They have the potential to be chained together really quickly and then just eat through someone's armor. The special is Booyah Bomb, which is one of my favorite specials in the game to play. You activate it, you go up into the air, you get a certain amount of armor. If you and your teammates booyah fast enough, it will fuel the bomb and also fill up the special gauge for your teammates. It's a very, very powerful sub weapon because it helps you and everyone else. And once you charge up enough energy, you can just throw a giant bomb and it will do a lot of damage. S tier weapon for me personally. Oh, we're onto the paintbrushes. Oh, I love the paintbrushes. This first one is called Ink Brush. I love brushes because you can run with them faster than you can normally moving. While you're running, you spread ink, so there's lots of opportunity to just make fun paths and distract the enemy by going around them or tricking them, and then you can also shake the brush really fast to spread ink, so it's a very fun weapon to play. This game is just a very fun game to play, honestly. The default one is Splat Bomb and Killer Whale 5.1. It's inspired by the original Killer Whale from Splatoon 1. It unleashes 6 peaker-shaped laser-emitting devices to surround and devastate your enemies, lock onto an opponent, and the emitters will track and blast them wherever they go. You can continue to use your main weapon and sub-weapon while it's firing. So I like Killer Whale because it gives you their location if you manage to lock on to an enemy, and it can also go all the way across the map without running into things that you collide with on the map. Very fun weapon all around. This is an S tier for me. Ink Brush Nouveau, same ink brush. The sub for this one is an ink mine. An ink mine is like a regular mine where if you go over it, it kind of just explodes. But you can hide them over the map and place them in very good strategic places. But when it explodes, it does damage to them, and then also it gives you the enemy's location. With Ink Brush Nouveau, very strong sub, and then the ultimate is the Ultra Stamp, which when combined with the ink brush is very, very strong. So I'm gonna say that's also an S tier. This is the Octo Brush, which is like the ink brush, but you get wider range and it's kind of slower, but because it's a bigger brush, you get more area coverage. Sub for this one is Suction Bomb, and the ult is Zipcaster. It's kind of a B, but it is very good in places where you know how to use it. It's still very strong all around. This one is Octobrush Nouveau. I love Octobrush Nouveau because you get Squid Beacon, and then the ultimate is Ink Storm, which is a very fun ultimate that I enjoy. It cannot be destroyed, and it rains ink down on the enemies. If you aim it right, it can do damage to your enemies over time if they get rained on in the area. Very good ultimate, I think, in my humble opinion. Also because I get killed by Ink Storm drizzlers in Salmon Run all the time. I'm saying you're an S tier. Ooh, this is the new Octobrush. I've not gone to play every single one of these their kits yet, because they only just got added in June. This new Octobrush, very lovely, because the sub is the Autobomb, which we love Autobombs, and then the ultimate is Kraken Royale. S tier, baby. Paintbrush. It's beautiful because it's like a fan brush. It has even longer range. Sub for this one is Curling Bomb, and the ult is Wave Breaker. It's slower though, but it's very powerful. I like this build a lot, so I'm gonna say Paintbrush is S. Our next one is Paintbrush Nouveau. Another one of my favorite brush variants we've gotten. This one's an S tier. The sub is Point Sensor, and then the ult is Tenta Missiles, which I'm a big fan of. Flingza Roller. Flingza Roller is my only weapon I've 5-starred. How do y'all have time to get your weapons to 10-star and above? I don't know. I don't understand you. It's very fun and I want to play it more. Nintendo, please add more stickers. Limit to the locker. I want to put more stickers on my locker than allowed. Please. 20 is not enough. I need to put everything on my locker, please. Nintendo. Anyways, this is an S tier. Bam. This one is the new Paintbrush. Paintbrush Browns. BRNZ. The sub is Splash Wall. The ult is Trizuka. I'm gonna say S tier. Oh, we're on chargers now? Okay. I'm not as used to the chargers. Unfortunately, the chargers are just kind of difficult to do in handheld mode because chargers are snipers, but you always have to charge them up first. There are faster chargers that take less time to charge, but they have considerably less range. The E-Lighter currently has most range in the game, but they are slower to charge up. The GooTuber is the charger you can have charged up the longest. So you can, the cool thing about chargers is you can have them charged up, but then you can hide in your ink and then hold your charge and then pop up somewhere else in your ink and then fire and snipe someone. I think that only applies to the chargers that are non-scoped. If you have a scoped charger, you cannot hold your charge. The Bamboozlers cannot hold a charge, and the Snipe Riders, that's what they're called. Anyways, the GooTuber, not as much range as the E-Lighter, but the sub is the Torpedo, and then the sub is Tenta Missiles, which I'm biased. I love Tenta Missiles. I like having a weapon that lets me ink a bunch, charge up my Tenta missiles really quick, and then unleash hell. I like pretending to be a fly fish. Love is in the air? Wrong. Fly fish. I'm gonna say it's an A tier. Custom GooTuber. Same thing, except you get the Fizzy Bomb and the Ultra Stamp. You're kind of a B. I'm sorry. It's Bamboozler time. These are literally called the Bamboozlers because they look like they're made of bamboo. This is also the weapon that the old guy in the story mode of Splatoon 1 uses. And it's also his cane, which I think is really fucking badass. Cane that also can be a weapon? Very good. Can charge fast. Less range. The default one is Auto Bomb and Killer Whale. Other Bamboozler is Fizzy Bomb and Super Chump. I like Super Chump. Fizzy Bomb just isn't as good. B tier. E-Lighter. Very powerful. Very demure. I get killed by them a lot. By people that are very good at them. However, I've gotten a lot better and they're kind of slow to charge up, so typically what people have just begun to do is just rush snipers as much as possible. The sub is Ink Mine and the eel is Wavebreaker. A tier. The custom E-Lighter 4K. Sub is Squid Beacon. The ultimate is Kraken Royale. Actually, I think that one's an S tier. Default Splat Charger. Default charger scope is called the Splatter Scope. It is the original default charger. Good range, faster charge speed than the E-Lighter, and good mobility, I think. Yeah, I guess mobility is how fast it charges. The sub Splat Bomb, and then the ult is Ink Vac. Not as powerful as it could be, because Ink Vac takes time to charge. So I'm gonna say this one's a B tier. Next charger, it is the Z plus F Splat Charger. Sub is Splash Wall, and then the ult is Triple Ink Strike. This is better than default Splat Charger. I say it's S tier? Not completely. It is hard for me to give chargers an S tier because they are difficult to play for me. I do admire the people that are talented at chargers. The last default charger is Splat Charger Cam O. Sub is Sprinkler, and the ult is Crab Tank. That's very strong. A tier. Next, the Squiffer. Classic Squiffer, S tier. No question about it. Not as fast as the Bamboozler, but faster than this charger. It will hit enemies with one hit. I've seen some people wreck the hell out of me with a really good Squiffer play. New Squiffer. Sub is Auto Bomb, ult is Zipcaster. I don't know. I'm gonna say this is an A tier. I've seen some people do some good moves with Zipcaster. Oh, it's Snipe Rider time. I highly enjoy the Snipe Riders. It lets you charge up the shot, and then it lets you shoot 5 times. You can't store charge, but you can quickly cover a lot of ink with these. They're a good starting point to learning chargers. Also, the design of them is so cool. They're like mechanical pencils. Look at this thing. The Snipe Rider 5H. Sub Sprinkler. Ultimate is Tacticaler. They put so much thought into the titles of these weapons too. The Snipe Rider 5H is like the default one. The second kit that they added is the 5B, which, if you don't know, H and B refers to the hardness of graphite pencils. So H is very hard and then B is very soft. 5B is Splash Wall and Ink Storm. Yeah, 5H is going to be an A tier because it's still very powerful, and then 5B is going to be an S tier. We're on dualies now. Let's go. Dualies are very fun. Dualies let you shoot 2 things at once, but you can roll and dodge, and you get usually up to 2 rolls. Certain dualies will let you roll quicker, but when you dodge, it turns both of your barrels into one singular barrel, and then you can shoot really far. And if you're in turret mode, you can just shoot continuously with your one long-range gun in a wide area around you. First set of dualies we have here is the 24 gold carats Labubu. I'm the owner of the one and only 24 gold carats Labubu. These are called the Dually Squelchers. These are the longest range of dualies. Default weapon is the Splat Bomb, and then your ult is the Wavebreaker. If you're playing like aggressive, this is a very fun weapon to play. A tier. Next kit is called the Custom Dually Squelchers. The sub for this one is Squid Beacon, and then the ult is Super Chump. I'm gonna say what I said about Super Chump. It's good and competitive, but like there are other sub weapons that are just way better, even though it looks at my ends app that I play all the time. Next set is the Hooves Dually Squelchers. Why is he wearing socks in the hot tub? Those are his hooves. The sub is point sensor, and the ult is the splatter color screen. We have not talked about the splatter color screen. That's a lot of S's. This ultimate was very controversial to the point where people were sending in death threats, I believe. It's basically a giant like screen or wall that you can pass through, but if you pass through it on the enemy team, it will damage you, and then it will also make you colorblind for a bit. It also will make a loud hissing sound. I believe that the hissing sound was really bad for a while. I don't know if they fixed it. I think it inks a little bit. Not kind of a shield, but it's another kind of useful ult because it makes your enemies move out of the way and then be unable to see what your teammates are kind of doing. Kind of in A tier. Next is the Galuga Dualies. I've gotten wrecked by many a Galuga Dualie because not a lot of people play them, but the people that do know how to play them are very powerful. They are the dualies that have the most amount of base damage out of any other dualie, so if it hits you like twice, you're done. Sub is the splash wall, very good for distracting, and then the ult is the Booyah Bomb. Anything that has a Booyah Bomb is just really, really powerful. I'm gonna say A because it's still kind of hard to maneuver because they're so slow, but many people have done some crazy things with them. The other Galuga Dualie is the Galuga Dualie Deco? Yes, what a combination of words. None of these words were in the Bible. The sub is point sensor, and then the ult is Trizuka, B tier. Trizuka is pretty good, but like, I feel like Booyah Bomb's still kind of more. No, I've seen people get blasted with, down from a Booyah Bomb with Trizukas. Splat Dualies. These are good mobility. They're the basic Dualies, basically. The sub is Suction Tank, and the ult is Crab. The sub is Suction Bomb, and the ult is Crab Tank. The Suction Tank is the thing they have in Wallace and Gromit, the Curse of the Were-Rabbit. B tier. These are the N parry Splat Dualies, which I think are my favorite dualies. The sub is Curling Bomb, and then the ult is Triple Splashdown, and this is a very, very fun kit to just roll into someone and destroy them. S tier. And then they added another set of Splat Dualies to the game, as if the N parry Splat Dualies aren't one of the most played weapons in the game. They're called the Twinkle Splat Dualies. I haven't played these very much. The sub is Fizzy Bomb, and then the ult is Big Bubbler. They're actually kind of a C tier, buddy. These are the default Dapple Dualies, with Squid Beacon and Tacticooler. Very fun set of dualies. However, I like a couple of these other kits more. In relation, you're kind of a B tier, but you're still very good. Next is Dapple Dualies Nouveau. These are very powerful. The sub is Torpedo, and the ult is Reef Slider. It's not as powerful as it used to be, though. A tier. I love the Dapple Dualies, though, but they have the shortest range, faster base speed than the Dowser Dualies, but the Dowser Dualies, when you're in turret mode, have a very, very quick speed with them. This is Dapple Dualies Knocked T, NOCT. Sub is Splat Bomb, ult is Killer Whale. Splat Bomb's better than Torpedo. I like Killer Whale. This is fun to trap people with, though. Actually, I'm gonna say S tier. These are the Dark Tetra Dualies, which are very fun to play. The sub is Auto Bomb, the ult is Reef Slider. They are slower to roll with, though, but they have pretty good long range. This one's kind of an S tier for me, or A tier. We also want to go with how fast we're able to go. Next one is the Light Tetra Dualies. Sub is Sprinkler and ult is Zipcaster. B tier. The Dowser Dualies. Kind of talked about this before. They're kind of slow in your base speed, but very fast and cover a lot of ink if you're in turret mode, which is why they're called the Dowsers. Default one, sub is Ink Mine and your ult is Killer Whale. That's a very fun stealth kind of build, but also it's kind of easy to get trapped with Dowser Dualies sometimes, so B tier. Custom Dowser Dualies FF. Why are they called FF? Burst Bomb and Trimple, hello? The Triple Ink Strike. I like these more than the default Dowser Dualies, so you're going in A tier. It's Carbon Roller time. We love rollers. I like weapons in games that allow me to do different abilities. They're kind of in the same level as brushes, where you can roll them around the ground like you would actually rolling and painting walls, but you can also flick them. You can flick vertically and horizontally, so there's a lot of possibilities for ink coverage. The carbon rollers are very special and fun because they allow you to just kind of sneak up on someone and hit them really quick, and they don't even know what's coming. They don't ink quite as much as everyone else, but they're very fun to play. The default carbon roller, sub is auto bomb, and then the ult is zip caster. I think default carbon roller is just really good all around. I think that's an S tier. Zip caster works exceptionally well because of your horizontal and vertical flicks. Horizontal. Hello, I'm very tired. It's been a day. Next is the carbon roller deco. I don't know if they're gonna make a completely new game or just keep on Splatoon 3. They are making Splatoon Raiders, which I'm interested in. Anyways, carbon roller deco. Ooh, the sub is burst bomb and the ultimate is Trizuka. Burst bomb and carbon roller deco is very powerful because you can hit them with your 2 burst bombs and then to smack them and bam, you've got him. S tier. The last carbon roller is the carbon roller ANGL. It's like Angel. The sub is Fizzy Bomb and then the ult is Super Chump. Still very powerful. Fizzy Bomb kind of knocks it down a few pegs, and Super Chump means it's not quite as good in ranked. Kind of a B. Splat Roller, my baby. It is the roller that I started out with, I guess, until I got enough levels to get Flingza. It's a good beginning roller, but it's very fun to play, in my humble opinion. The sub is Curling Bomb, which is good for distracting your enemies, and then the ult is Big Bubbler, which is fun for taking points in some cases. I'm so partial to it. It is an A tier. Next one is the Crack On Splat Roller, which is this orange one. The sub is the Squid Beacon, and then the ultimate is Kraken Royale. It's kind of hard to be a support roller. Maybe I'm just not good at it enough. I'm gonna say it's A tier. Dynamo rollers are the hardest to handle. They are very, very slow. But I figured out that you can jump after you've done your horizontal flick. So you do the button, then jump to make your horizontal flick a bit faster. You can do a lot of range. If an enemy is in range, they're pretty much screwed. Really, really pay attention to your positioning and all that with Dynamo rollers. They can do a lot if you know what you're doing. Default Dynamo roller is more of a support with the sprinkler and tacticaler. B tier. I said what I said. However, Gold Dynamo Roller, very good. The sub is Splat Bomb, and then the ultimate is Super Chump. You're an A tier. Stars Dynamo Roller. The sub is Point Sensor, which uses a lot less ink, and the ult is Killer Whale. S tier. Flingza Roller, Flingza Roller, Flingza Roller, my beloved, my baby, is the only weapon I 5-starred in this entire game. You know why it's fun? Because the ultimate is Tenta Missiles. So it is fun to be a fly fish and smack people with it. S tier. The other one is the Foil Flingza. The sub is Suction Bomb and the ult is Splatter Color Screen, which kind of puts it as a B. Big Swig Roller. I'm a big fan of the Big Swigs. They are fun. They don't use a lot of ink, and they ink a lot. However, they're kind of more gentle, but they're very good as support weapons because they do a lot of like chip damage. Big Swig Roller is Splash Wall and Ink Vac. Can be useful if you know how to use them right, but they added more powerful Big Swigs. So I'm gonna say this one is an A tier. Next one is the Big Swig Roller Express. This is another one that I highly, highly enjoy. But then they added another Big Swig Roller that I enjoy way more. The Big Swig Roller Express has Angle Shooter, ult is Ink Storm, which does more chip damage. Fuck it, S tier. This baby is the planet's Big Swig Roller. I love this thing. The sub is Torpedo, which tracks down your enemies and then makes them have to waste ink on destroying it, and you can just sneak up on them and get more chip damage. And then the ultimate is Triple Splashdown, which is very, very powerful. It's a fantastic roller all around. I think that this is my new favorite besides Flingza. Oh, we're on the Splatanas. Splatana is a new weapon type that was introduced in Splatoon 3. They are swords that do ink and you can slash them. The first one we have is the Splatana Wiper. It's kind of modeled after like a car wiper, like you swish, 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 swish. Original Splatana Wiper has Torpedo as its sub and Stamper as its ult. They debuff Stamper, but it's still an A tier. The next one is the Splatana Wiper Deco, which is instantly an S tier. It has Squid Beacon and Tenta Missiles. So again, Tenta Missiles, Flyfish, bam. They added a new wiper, which is the Splatana Wiper RUST, or Rust. Except for that is Curling Bomb, and the ult is Trizuka. I feel like that's also an S tier. A tier. We're at the Splatana Stamper. These are fun because they're modeled after those kind of business stamps where you roll them and you choose like what date it is and stuff. The default Splatana Stamper I believe, is Burst Bomb as its sub and Zipcaster as its ult. It's kind of slower, but it's still an A tier to me. The other one is Toxic Mist and Crab Tank. Crab Tank just isn't as powerful as it used to be. B. RIP. R.I.P. in peace. The stickers Platana Stamper. I love the design on it. I love that they made one with stickers on it. The sub is Auto Bomb and the ult is Booyah Bomb. Beautiful, beautiful. All around. Great weapon. Mint Decavitators. The Decavitators were also new. They're kind of like toothpaste. The unsheath from the toothpaste container thing. They're very fun to play. I wish they were S tiers, but they're very fun because you can rush toward an enemy and slice through them. And they also do a lot of damage if you manage to hit them. That's an S tier. Charcoal Decavitator is Splash Wall and Inkjet. I have a harder time with Inkjet. It's an A tier. It is Brella time. We start out with the Undercover Brella, which is a Brella that kind of just lets you shoot constantly, and you have a shield. And it's great because enemies can shoot your shield, and they can destroy it, but it gets in the waste of their ink, and Brellas are pretty good for distracting. Default Undercover Brella uses Ink Mine and Reef Slider. Big fan of those. Actually think it's an S tier. I know people say the Undercover isn't as good or fast, but I really enjoy playing Undercover Brella. It's also just so fast. It has really good range for how fast it is. The next one is Undercover Sorella Brella, which does Torpedo and Splatter color screen. Another really good thing for distracting. However, the newest Undercover Brella they added is called the Patterns Undercover Brella, and I love this design, but also the sub is Curling Bomb and the ult is Killer Whale, so you can really just corner someone with this. S tier, baby. Now we're on Splat Brella, which is like meant to be the default Brella. A sub for Splat Brella is Sprinkler, and then ult is Triple Ink Strike. The other Brellas, in order to shoot them, you kind of have to keep pulling the trigger in order for these to work. Otherwise, after you hold it for a certain amount of seconds, you can unleash your Brella bit and it'll kind of just glide across the map and then spread some ink walls at it, which is another good thing for distracting enemies. I feel like it's pretty powerful actually, but the Tenta Brellas are just so good. The other one is a Sorella Brella, which is Auto Bomb and Inkjet. We have the Tenta Brella, which does a lot of coverage, but it's also slower. This one's good, but not as good as the others, so I'm gonna say B. The other one is Tenta Sorella Brella, which is Ink Mine and Trezuka. Very powerful. You're an S tier. Tentabrella, CREM, or Creme. The sub is Toxic Mist, ult is Super Trump. B? Yeah, especially because they added the recycled Brellas. I think they're the fastest. You can hold on to a Brella and then just let them go crazy, and they go very quickly. Recycled Brella 24 Mark 1 has Angle Shooter and Big Bubbler, which are very fun for taking points. A tier. And then the other one is the Recycled Brella 24 Mark 2. The sub is Toxic Mist, and then the ult is Triple Splashdown. This is very fun for cornering people, so I'm also gonna say that's an S tier. It is gun time. We start out with the Aero Spray MG. The Aero Sprays, as you'd expect, are guns. They ink a lot, they ink quickly. I think they are the fastest inkers in the game, but they don't do quite as much damage like right off the bat, so you have to be very concentrated about what you're doing, but you can do a lot with them. Sub for the default Aero Spray is Fizzy Bomb, and the ultimate is Reef Slider. It's an A tier because it's just very good. The next one is Aero Spray RG, the golden Aero Spray. You see these very often, but it's for good reason. They are an S tier because their sub is a Sprinkler, which means they can just cover a lot of ink so very quickly. And then the ult is a Booyah Bomb. It's very easy to just charge up Booyah Bombs with the Aero Spray RG if you know what you're doing. Next, we have the Colors Aero Spray, which is new. The sub is Burst Bomb. Very good with Aero Spray, I think. But the ult is Splatter Color Screen, which is good for like cornering people. And this is kind of a B tier for me. Next up is the Splatter Shot Pro. They're not that quick. They're not as quick as default splatter shots. They also use up ink very quickly. They're long range, and they can be good if used properly. Default one is Angle Shooter and Crab Tank. B tier? I tried playing this one, but I just kept having to change. It's kind of hard to play if everyone else is playing way more meta weapons. The next one is the Forge Splatter Shot Pro. This one is better because the ult is Booyah Bomb, and then the sub is Suction Bomb, which I like Angle Shooter, but also just having a Booyah Bomb and a long-range weapon at that is very, very fun. I'm gonna say A tier. Again, they use up a lot of ink. They're good if you have a gold arrow spray on your team, and then also Forge Splatter Shot. That can do a lot, in my humble opinion. Next, we have the Splatter Shot Pro FRZN, which is like supposed to be frozen. Sub is Splat Bomb, and then the ultimate is Tenta Missiles, which I think puts it on the same level as the Forge. This is the Splatter Shot Junior. Splatter Shot Junior is the very, very basic default weapon that you pretty much get at the start of the game. It's pretty solid for what it is. Not quite as much damage or range, but you know, it's a solid weapon. Sub is Splat Bomb, and then the ult is Big Bubbler. It's an A tier. However, the custom Splatter Shot Junior is very good because it's got Torpedo and Wave Breaker. I think it's one of the fastest ones that has Wave Breaker. Oh, the Squeezers. Squeezers are interesting because you have two different weapon ranges. If you hold down your trigger button continuously, it'll shoot a short stream pretty fast, and it's not super powerful. However, if you time your trigger presses correctly at a constant rate, you get long range shots that do more damage. And I think the Squeezers are very good. This one is Splash Wall and Trizuka. I think it's an S tier. However, the other one is the Foil Squeezer. I'm sorry, Splatter Color Screen just isn't my favorite compared to the Booyah Bombs. But it does have Auto Bomb, which I like. I'm gonna say it's an A tier. The .52 Gal. This is a fun weapon because you can get your enemies with only 2 shots. That's all they need to get destroyed because it does 52 damage. I love the 52 Gals. The sub is Splash Wall, and the ult is Killer Whale 5.1. Very fun for cornering down your enemies and just getting them. And then it has a variation called the .52 Gal Deco, which it's so pretty because it's sparkly and rhinestoned, unfortunately, with the splatter color screen. I mean, it's good, but the original is just fantastic. Now we have the .96 Gal. I don't know if it does 96 damage every time. I believe it's actually 92 damage every time. These are also fun. Again, only 2 hits required, but it's a very good support weapon. If you see your teammate attacking someone and then you just go over and get them, they're gone. They're done for. Very powerful, very mindful, very demure. Default 96 Gal. I like the sprinkler with it. And Ink Vac. Ink Vac is again still vulnerable to a lot of ults. It also takes up a lot of ink. .96 Gal Deco though. It's sparkly, and its ult is Kraken Royale. It has to go in S tier. But then the sub for it is Splash Wall. So it's basically like a really good .52 Gal. And it's got fantastic range, but slow fire rate. But again, if you're playing support, you got nothing to worry about. I forgot they added another .96 Gal. This one's called the Claws .96 Gal. It does Ankle Shooter and Tentacular. I like the Ankle Shooter because it's easier to track down enemies, and Tacticular is fun to play as a support. Fuck it. S tier. Wabam, we're a Jet Squelcher. This one's the default one. I think it's the highest range gun in the game. It used to be super slow, but they've increased the speed of it, and it's really fun to play. I like it a lot. The default one has Ankle Shooter and Ink Vac, B tier. Custom Jet Squelcher. The sub is Toxic Mist, and the ult is Ink Storm, which has a lot of potential. It's an A tier. Introducing the Jet Squelcher COBR, the Cobra. Its sub is the Burst Bomb, and then the ult is Triple Splashdown, making this an S tier. Splatter Shots. They're like the second kind of gun you get introduced to. The Splatter Shot has Suction Bomb and Trizuka. I'm gonna say it's an A tier. Then we have the Tentatech Splatter Shot. Sub is Splat Bomb, and then ult is the Triple Ink Strike, S tier. And then we have the new Splatter Shot. It's called the Glamour Splatter Shot. It's got Burst Bomb and Kraken Royale. I like Splatter Shot because they're pretty accurate compared to the arrow sprays. There's the Splooshomatic and the Splashamatics. These are the Splashamatics. They aren't as accurate as the Splatter Shots, but they do ink pretty fast. Default Splashomatic does Burst Bomb and Crab Tank in A tier. The Neo Splashomatic, which does Suction Bomb and Triple Ink Strike, it's still kind of an A tier. The Splashomatic GCQ, oh, Gecko. Neat. Oh, it's a Gecko because it does Toxic Mist and Ink Storm. A? I love N-Zaps. These are modeled after the original Nintendo Zapper-like guns that you would use in games like Duck Hunt I don't know any other ones, but I'm sure they're fantastic and probably compatible with other things. I don't know if they ever made like, well, they have an 89. Anyways, I'm a big fan of the N-Zaps. They're very fun. Also, their design is just so cool. It's a suction bomb, tentacular. Default one is an A tier. They also ink pretty fast, and they have a longer range than the splashes. I want to put this one in S tier so bad. The N-Zap 89, it's Auto Bomb, and Super Chomp, which is very fun in Turf War, because it does a lot of distracting. But also there are other ones that are so much better than it. But I love it. Well, next is the Splatoon. This is very, very powerful. They do a lot of damage pretty quick. It's very short range, but they can sneak up on people with their curling bomb. It's pretty damn effective. Its ult is Super Stamp. Then we have the Neo Sploosh-o-matic, which isn't as powerful. I like Squid Beacon, but it still can't, like, ink. So sometimes it's better to have bombs that do ink. Also, the super jump is very helpful in some cases. B tier, its ult is Killer Whale. No. Oh, I hate these things. We're at the nozzle noses. I hate the nozzle noses. They're good. They're kind of hard to play and they tire out my fingers. F tier. I do not care. D tier for these. They're probably good and fun. They're not meant for my little hands. Okay, the L3 Nozzle Nose D is good because I keep getting killed by that because it's Burst Bomb and Ultra Stamp, so maybe that one's a D tier, but I still hate them. I do not like weapons that hurt my hands. I mean, the Sloshers also kind of hurt my hands. I can't play them as often. The Splattershot Nova, less range than the Splattershot Pro, good fire rate, less damage, but I do like it. Point Sensor and Killer Whale. I did like this one a lot because I could just hunt down people. And then the other one is the Anarchy Splattershot Nova, which is Ink Mine and Inkjet. I'm just not as good as Inkjet. B tier. Oh yeah, it is Slosher time. I love Bloblobber. So much fun. It hurts my hands. I can't play as often as I'd like. It shoots bubbles that can bounce off the walls and really trap your enemies. Depending on how you move around your controller when you're doing it, it can really just do a lot of evil trapping. It's got Sprinkler and Ink Storm, which I think are pretty good for default Bloblobber. I'll put it in A because the other one is just so much better. They added the Bloblobber Deco, which allows you to do Angle Shooter and Kraken Royale. The Slosher default. Toxic Mist is its sub and Inkjet is its ult. It's small range but does a lot of damage very quickly. It's pretty fun to play. A tier. The other one is Slosher Nouveau, which I'm gonna say is an S tier. Kind of more of a support, but I do like it for what it is. It's got Fizzy Bomb. Its ult is Tacticular. Why didn't they call it the Tentacular? They could have made it go with the Pokemons. I end up calling the Tentacore all the damn time. And then we have the Slosher Ash N. Its sub is Splat Bomb and Splatter Color Screen. B. I do not like Splatter Color Screen. Sloshing Machine. Sloshers that do long range, but they're kind of slow and they don't cover as much, so you have to be very accurate with them. This one's Fizzy Bomb and Booyah Bomb. B. I used to really enjoy them, but now there's just better sloshers out there. Then we have Sloshing Machine Neo, which is Point Sensor and Trizuka. I'm gonna say A tier for that, because at least you can track your enemy with the point sensor. And then we have Default Slosher, which does Splat Bomb and Triple Ink Strike. Depending on also how you aim your sloshers, you can do less or more ink. That's a very solid kit, actually. I don't see people playing it enough, but also it's not as fast as Slosher. Then Slosher Deco is Angle Shooter and Zipcaster. I'm gonna say A tier. Okay, Exploshers. These things are crazy. They are sloshers that also explode. So depending on how you aim these, you can cover a huge amount of ink and then also do a good amount of damage. These are also very good in Salmon Run because they are one of the few weapons that can just insta-kill the flyfish. Default Explosher uses Point Sensor as its sub and Ink Storm as its ult. A tier. Custom Explosher has Splash Wall and Triple Splashdown. Triple Splashdown with this is very, very, very fun to see. Then we have the Dread Winger. Dread Ringer. Default Dread Ringer is Suction Bomb and Reef Slider. Fun thing about this is it does 2 really long big splashes. If you tilt your controller while you're doing it, you can get more coverage. End up getting 2 big spots with less amount of damage, or 2 in the same spot with a big amount of damage. This is an S tier for me. Then the other one is the Dread Ringer D, with Squid Beacon and Wave Breaker. A tier? Then the Horns Dreadringer, I do like this a lot more. It's got Crab Tank as its ult. Can be really good for just kind of cornering someone with this S tier. Woohoo! We're on the Splatlings. We're very close to being done. We're starting with the mini Splatling. For those that don't know, a Splatling is kind of similar to a Gatling gun, where you charge it up and then you let it go to unleash a large amount of ink. And these usually have longer range and more power. Mini Splatling's very good. This one, it has Burst Bomb and Stamper, S tier. Next we have the Zinc Mini Splatling, which has Toxic Mist and Big Bubbler. It's okay. I'm just gonna say it's B tier. The Mini Splatling RTLR has Squid Beacon as its sub and Trizuka as its ult. This one will let you charge the Trizuka really quick. Hydra Splatling's next. Hydra Splatling with Auto Bomb and Booyah Bomb, B tier. They're very good because they have the longest range and they can do a lot, but they take so long to charge up. It's so easy to get rushed as them. I just need to get good at them, I think. Custom Hydra Splatling, which has Ink Mine and Splatter Color Screen, C tier. I'm just not a fan. And then Torrent's Hydra Splatling, I feel like this is more helpful because at least you can get some coverage to charge for your bubbler with your sprinkler to distract while you're inking. A tier. Ballpoint Splatling, they also let you have kind of two different modes of fire. If you aim these like far away, they can do farther away aiming, and then you can have kind of closer range with it. Fizzy Bomb and Inkjet. I have a B tier. I'm not the biggest advocate of violence. We're ranked weapons for a game where we fight each other and kill each other with paint, but Ballpoint Splatling Nouveau is Ink Mine and Ink Vac, B tier. Oh, Nautilus. I love Nautilus 47. It is a great Splatling because you can charge it up and pop out and get out and get people. A tier. The sub is Point Sensor and then the ult is Ink Storm. Nautilus 79 though, S tier. Instant S tier. Sub is the Suction Bomb, but your ult is Splashdown, so you just get them. Next we have the Heavy Splatling. They're pretty good. They charge up pretty fast for the good amount of range that they have. Default one has Sprinkler, ultimate is Wave Breaker, A tier. The other one is the Heavy Splatling Deco, which is just Point Sensor and Kraken Royale. That's gotta be an S tier. It's not as good as Nautilus, but it's pretty damn fun. Heavy Edit Splatling. I do like these. They're good support. They look like Whiteout! Default Heavy Edit does Curling Bomb. Its ult is Tacticoler. This one, it's been hard to play these a little bit. Heavy Edit Splatling Nouveau has Splat Bomb and Crab Tank. B tier. Bow Time. I like the bows a lot actually because I get to feel like I'm back in the Breath of the Wild building again. They feel pretty much the same for the most part. Tri-Stringer is a default one. Its sub is Toxic Mist and its ult is Killer Whale. A tier. Inkling Tri-Stringer, however. It's got Sprinkler and Super Chump. I think that's an S tier. Reflex is instantly an S tier. Its sub is Curling Bomb, but its ult is Tenta Missiles, so that is another Flyfish type weapon. I love Flyfish. I don't love them. I love when I get to be a Flyfish. We got Bulb's Tri-Stringer with the Angle Shooter and Inkjet. I just don't like the Inkjets. I need to get good at them. We got Reflex 450 Deco, Splash Wall and Reef Slider. I've gotten messed up by a couple cars, but I'm gonna say B tier for this one. Because we got the Reflex 450 Milk. MILK. It's got Torpedo and Booyah Bomb. Inks fast, can do a lot of damage. The reflexes can hold their charge if I'm not mistaken. And we're on the last two ones. Let's go! Wellstring V. Wellstring 5 because it has 5 shot, I think is an S tier. It's got Auto Bomb and Ultra Stamp. The other custom Wellstring V has Point Sensor and Wave Breaker, which I'm gonna put in A tier. And would you look at that? We have completed our entire Splatoon ranking list. There's only a couple weapons I just do not like. I'm gonna save and download this. Alright. Thank you all so much for being here and hanging out. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure you take care of yourself. Get enough food, get enough water, get enough rest, and just be kind to yourself in general because you deserve it. Also, tell someone you love them because you may not know how much they need it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!